Welcome back to Legends and Laughs. Today we dive into the classic showdown of David and Goliath. Picture this, a tale as old as time, a story that's been told since the days when stories were written on scrolls and not in the cloud. We're talking about a one-on-one showdown that's more epic than any wrestling match you'll find on pay-per-view. But here at Legends and Laughs, we've got a twist on this tale that's going to make you see it in a whole new light. Enter the ring, Goliath, the Philistine heavyweight champ that's got muscles on his muscles. This guy is so massive, his shadow has to file its own tax return. I mean, we're talking about a giant so large, his footprints could be mistaken for kiddie pools. And don't even get me started on his biceps. They're like two mountain peaks flexing in the sunset. If there was a Mr. Universe contest back in the day, Goliath would have taken the crown without breaking a sweat. But let's not forget about our underdog David, a shepherd boy with a heart full of courage and a slingshot slung over his shoulder. He might not have the size or the strength, but he's got the spirit. And in this tale, that's what really counts. Now I know what you're thinking. Goliath versus David, that's not a fair fight. And you'd be right. But that's what makes this story so epic. It's not about the size of the fighter in the fight, it's about the size of the fight in the fighter. And let me tell you, David's got enough fight in him to take on 10 Goliaths. So buckle up, folks, because this isn't just a bedtime story. This is a battle of biblical proportions. And we're just getting started. Seriously, Goliath, do you even lift, bro? And then there's David, the shepherd with the slingshot. Imagine, if you will, a strapping young lad, his eyes filled with the fire of ambition. Picture him strutting onto the scene, a disco ball's glow illuminating his feathered hair, his leather jacket shimmering under the spotlight. Yes, folks, this is our underdog, our dark horse, David. David is no giant, mind you. He's not flexing muscles the size of boulders, nor is his shadow threatening to swallow up the entire arena. But what he lacks in size, he more than makes up for in sheer audacity. He's the guy who brought a knife to a gunfight. The one who decided that, yes, a slingshot is a perfectly acceptable weapon of choice when facing a behemoth. David steps into the arena with a swagger that belies his size. He's not a towering figure, but he's got the confidence of a man who knows he's about to shake up the world. He's got a twinkle in his eye and a slingshot in his hand, ready to take on the mountain of muscle that is Goliath. But let's not forget, David's not just about the bravado. He's not just a shepherd with a slingshot and a dream. He's also got a killer sense of style. From his feathered hair to his bedazzled boots, David's not just here to win, he's here to make a statement. And what a statement it is! He's a spectacle, a sight to behold, a force to be reckoned with. He's a shepherd turned glam rock star, a boy turned hero, an underdog turned legend. And he's not just here to fight, he's here to dazzle, to inspire, to leave a lasting impression. So, as David takes his place in the ring, one can't help but think, Goliath, you might have the size, the strength, the stature. But David? Oh, Goliath, watch out. This dude's got style. Now for the trash talk, the warm-up to every great showdown. This is where our contenders, David and Goliath, flex not just their muscles, but their wit. And let me tell you, the verbal jabs they throw are as entertaining as the physical ones. Goliath, towering over David like a skyscraper, starts off with a classic. His deep voice rumbles across the arena as he declares, "You're going down, little man!" It's a simple statement, sure, but the sheer power behind it could make even the bravest of souls quake in their boots. But David, oh, our dear David, he doesn't even blink. He looks up at Goliath, a smirk playing on his lips, and fires back, "Down? Oh, you mean to the grocery store, because I'm getting snacks after I defeat you!" The crowd erupts in laughter. Even Goliath cracks a smile. Yes, dear listeners, David, the underdog, just turned the tables on Goliath, the giant. With a single sentence, he's transformed this tense confrontation into a comedy show. He's turned Goliath's threat into a punchline. And the crowd? They're eating it up. The laughter echoing through the arena is louder than any war cry. It's a sound that says, we're here for a good time. It's a sound that says, we're not afraid. And most importantly, it's a sound that says, we believe in David. It's clear that David knows the power of humor. He knows that laughter can lighten even the heaviest of hearts. He knows that a good joke can turn fear into courage. And he knows that sometimes the best way to face a giant is not with a sword, but with a smile. So Goliath may have the brawn, but David has the brains. And as we've just seen, when it comes to trash talk, brains beats brawn every time. David, your snack joke was a low blow, but we loved it. The moment we've all been waiting for, the epic showdown. The crowd hushes as Goliath, the Philistine behemoth, and David, our feather-haired underdog, step into the ring. The tension is as thick as Goliath's biceps. David, however, seems unfazed, cradling his weapon of choice, a slingshot that looks comically oversized next to his slender frame. Goliath roars, flexing his muscles, which ripple like an ocean during a storm. David, on the other hand, simply winks at the crowd, slingshot in hand. It's a classic standoff, the kind that makes you question your life choices, like why you're not home safely tucked in bed, instead of watching a shepherd take on a giant. With a flick of his wrist, David draws back his slingshot, the tension in the ancient weapon mirroring the anticipation in the air. He takes aim, his gaze unwavering, locked onto Goliath. A hush falls over the crowd. You could hear a pin drop, or in this case, a stone. But wait, it's not a stone that flies out of David's slingshot and whizzes through the air. No, Is that a rubber chicken? The crowd gasps, then bursts into laughter as the rubber chicken hits Goliath square on the nose. The giant stumbles, surprise etched on his face as the chicken bounces off, leaving a trail of feathers in its wake. Goliath, the invincible giant, taken down by a shepherd and a rubber chicken. I bet you didn't see that coming. Our underdog, David, proves once again that size doesn't always matter, and that a good sense of humor can disarm even the mightiest of opponents. David grins, raising his slingshot in victory, while Goliath rubs his nose, looking more bemused than angry. Laughter ripples through the crowd, proving that even in the face of epic battles, a little humor goes a long way. I guess David wasn't aiming for the head, more like the beak. And just like that, David takes home the victory. Who would have thought? A shepherd boy defeating a giant with nothing more than a rubber chicken. Picture this, David, the underdog, standing victorious. His weapon of choice, not a sword, not a spear, but a rubber chicken. Yes, you heard that right, a rubber chicken. The very sight of it would have been enough to make anyone laugh out loud, but for Goliath, it was his downfall. As the feathers fly around, Goliath stumbles, a look of pure bewilderment on his face. It's not every day you get defeated by poultry, even if it is made of rubber. And the crowd goes wild. The cheers echo around the arena, the excitement palpable. Now let's take a moment to appreciate Goliath. He may have lost, but he took it like a champ. No temper tantrums, no sore loser antics. Instead, he joins in on the fun, showing us that even giants have a sense of humor. And then, to top it all off, David does a victory dance. Not just any dance, mind you, but the kind of dance that would make a disco ball jealous. And Goliath, the good sport that he is, joins in. Who knew giants could have rhythm? So there you have it, the unexpected victory of David over Goliath. A tale of courage, of humor, and of victory against the odds. A reminder that sometimes the most epic battles can have the funniest outcomes. And as our pair end their dance off, we're left with a sight to remember. David and Goliath, once adversaries, now united in laughter and dance. A sight that proves that even in the face of adversity, humor can shine through. Thanks for joining us on Legends and Laughs. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your fellow history buffs who need a good laugh. And remember, next time you're facing your own Goliath, maybe all you need is a rubber chicken.